Hope Logan has lost everything. The once darling of the fashion world, the voice of grace under pressure, the heart of compassion in the Forrester's cutthroat empire, now finds herself standing in the wreckage of what used to be her life. Hope for the future has collapsed. Her line, her vision, her purpose, gutted and discarded. Her standing at Forrester Creations, once earned through years of perseverance and creativity, erased by boardroom votes and silent betrayal. And the final blow? Liam. Gone. Not just in body, not just due to illness, but gone in spirit. The man she spent years fighting for is now lying in a hospital bed, slipping further away, all while professing love to Steffi in words Hope was never meant to hear. She's lost her place, her purpose, her partner, and she's alone. Until Paris sends back a ghost. Thomas Forrester walks into Los Angeles like a storm wrapped in a smile. Calm, confident, sharper than ever. But this isn't the obsessive Thomas of the past. This is a man retooled, recalibrated, and dangerous in a new way. He brings Douglas home, along with a proposal that shakes the foundation of everything left standing, Hope 2.0. A rebirth of the brand, but outside the walls of Forrester Creations. A new fashion house, independent and unshackled, fueled by the same aesthetic soul Hope built, but backed by Thomas's design talent and ruthless resolve. He doesn't just want to relaunch her dream. He wants her to rise from the ashes. But there's a catch. A very specific catch. She has to trust him. Completely. No questioning. No oversight. No halfway. Full belief. Total loyalty. Thomas leans in close, voice smooth, eyes unwavering. If we do this, it's all in. You believe in me. No more doubt. No more ghosts. You jump, I jump. It's seduction masked as salvation. And Hope, fractured and fragile, listens. Because she needs purpose. She needs to fight. She needs to create. But more than all of that, she needs someone who believes in her. And Thomas does. Or at least, he says he does. Brooke Logan sees it coming like a freight train. She's been through too much. She's watched Thomas manipulate her daughter before. Obsession disguised as devotion. Redemption dressed in designer suits. She knows Thomas is dangerous, not because he yells or threatens, but because he waits. He infiltrates. And now, with Hope emotionally broken and professionally ruined, he's back with a golden ticket and a silver tongue. Brooke confronts him the moment she hears about the plan. She calls it what it is, a trap. A power play. A slow drip manipulation masked as generosity. She begs Hope to pause, to think, to remember everything Thomas has done. She warns her, he doesn't love you. He wants to own you. But Hope is numb. She doesn't fight back. She doesn't shout. She just says quietly, I don't have anything left to lose. Ridge, meanwhile, is caught in a war between blood and legacy. Thomas is his son. Brilliant. Reformed, at least publicly. His time in Paris wasn't just exile, it was productive. He designed. He pitched. He built relationships. And now he's back, poised to become a real threat not just to Hope's recovery, but to Forrester Creations itself. Because of Hope too. Zero launches successfully outside the company. It siphons influence, talent, and revenue. It fractures the brand. It divides loyalties. And Ridge knows it. So now he must choose, protect the legacy of the company he helped build, or support the son he never stopped believing could be more. He watches Thomas pitch the idea in sleek slides and sharp language. Watches Hope nod slowly, absorbing every word. Watches Brooke burn with rage and fear from across the room. He says nothing. Not yet. Because Ridge knows what this could become. Thomas is playing the long game. He's not asking for Hope's heart yet. He's asking for faith. Because he knows once she gives him that, everything else will follow. She'll defend him. She'll trust him. And slowly, without realizing it, she'll start to need him. Thomas offers her a warehouse space, investors lined up from his Paris connections, a full team of young, hungry designers ready to shape a new identity. They'll start with a capsule line. Limited drop? Hype over quantity. He promises innovation. Disruption. No more runway politics. Just pure vision. And all she has to do is say yes. Hope stands in front of a blank canvas again. Her name, once written across department stores and Fashion Week shows, now feels like a whisper. But Thomas is offering her the brush. The chance to rewrite the story. The chance to reclaim her voice not just as a designer, but as a woman who survives. So she says it. One word. Yes. Thomas doesn't smile. Not fully, but his eyes flash. Because this was always the plan. Not to take Hope by force. Not to chase her. But to make her come to him. Brooke is devastated. She tries everything. Guilt. Reason. Tears. She goes to Ridge. Demands he stop this. Pull funding. Block permits. Anything. But Ridge hesitates. Because he sees something too. He sees that Hope isn't a victim anymore. She's choosing this. Maybe out of grief. Maybe out of pride. Maybe out of self-destruction. But she's making the leap on her own. And maybe for the first time, it's not Thomas pulling the strings. Maybe he's just standing there, arms open, ready to catch her when everyone else let her fall. The press catches wind of Hope 2.0 within days. The fashion blogs buzz. Is this a revenge brand? A resurrection? Is she taking on the Foresters? Is Thomas really the one behind the designs? The first promotional teaser drops like a bomb. She's not looking for permission. She's not asking for trust. She's creating without apology. Hope 2.0 is coming. Within 24 hours, the Forrester board demands answers. Steffi is furious. This is betrayal. Hope was part of their family. Now she's a competitor? Now she's working with Thomas? It's a slap in the face and a threat to everything Steffi's been building. Ridge refuses to take a side. Eric is silent. Zend warns that designers are already eyeing this shift. The fashion war has begun. And inside it, a deeper war brews. Because Thomas is closer to Hope than ever before. Late nights, shared sketches, personal meetings, whispered conversations. She's opening up. She's depending on him. She's becoming a different version of herself. Stronger? Maybe. But also more vulnerable. And Thomas is patient. He doesn't push. He just waits. Because love, in his mind, is inevitable. All he has to do is keep building. Hope 2.0 isn't just a brand. It's a bond. And the more Hope succeeds outside Forrester, the more everyone inside watches the cracks spread. Brooke loses sleep. Ridge loses ground. Steffi loses control. And Liam? He watches from a hospital bed, wondering what happened to the woman he once knew, and if she's truly better off without him. Because maybe Hope 2.0 isn't just her comeback. Maybe it's her rebirth. Or maybe it's her fall. And Thomas will be there for every moment. Whether to catch her or to claim her. No one expected Bill Spencer, the unshakable titan of Spencer Publications, the man who bulldozed through rivals and women alike with equal force, to collapse. Not like this. Not in the middle of a mission to save his dying son. But in the cold light of Monday morning, Bill's body failed him. While frantically arranging medical contacts and financial resources to get Liam another shot at life, a stabbing pain hit him in the chest. Then another. Before he could dial the number, his legs buckled. The room spun. He hit the marble floor of his downtown penthouse hard, clutching at his chest as the world went dark. By the time emergency responders arrived, Bill Spencer had no pulse. The cause, a sudden and severe cardiac event triggered by underlying complications he'd ignored for years: hypertension, stress, and undiagnosed arrhythmia. Doctors call it a near-fatal electrical storm in the heart. 1 second longer without CPR, and it wouldn't have been a hospitalization. It would have been a funeral. They rushed him to Cedars-Sinai. The code blue echoed through the corridors. He was stabilized, intubated, and wheeled into ICU under heavy sedation. The staff didn't know it yet, but what was happening inside that room would ripple far beyond any diagnosis. Because as powerful as Bill was in life, his most explosive move came in near death. A revised last will and testament, recently updated, quietly notarized, and left inside a safe deposit envelope within his briefcase. And it came with one condition: control of Spencer Publications shall fall to the most recent legally recognized spouse. Suddenly, the hospital room wasn't a place of healing, it was a war zone. Katie Logan was the first to arrive. She'd heard from Wyatt. Her face was pale, lips trembling, but her posture was tight with restrained emotion. Bill wasn't just her ex-husband. He was the father of her son. The man she'd loved, loathed, saved, and damned in cycles for over a decade. She sat by the bed in silence, holding his wrist like she could will the pulse to stay steady. There was pain, yes, but there was something else. Unfinished business. Then Brooke Logan stormed in. She didn't ask permission. She didn't knock. She demanded answers. Her hair disheveled, voice sharp, heart thudding louder than the monitors. Brooke had history with Bill, passionate, scandalous, and far from over in her eyes. She blamed herself. She blamed the stress of the Liam situation, the threats, the emotional whirlwind. But when her gaze locked with Katie's across the room, everything paused. Years of betrayal, love triangles, and lies condensed into one quiet standoff in front of an unconscious man neither of them had ever really let go of. But the tension didn't stop there. Lee Finnegan arrived next. Not out of love. Not out of nostalgia. Out of debt. Bill had once risked his name and fortune to save her son. He had covered tracks, shielded secrets, and defied logic. Lee owed him a life. And now, seeing him lying there, tubes in his chest and machines doing his breathing, she felt the debt return in full force. But unlike Katie and Brooke, Lee came for medical control. She pushed past the nurses. She ordered labs. She demanded a cardiology consult. And when Katie pushed back, Lee's tone turned cold. If you want him alive, stay out of my way. 3 women. 1 ICU. And a briefcase that held a bomb. The envelope was found by a nurse. Bill had left it labeled, "Delivered to Ridge Forrester if anything happens to me." But Ridge wasn't there yet. Katie opened it first. And the moment she saw the clause, "Spencer Publications shall be inherited, at time of death or incapacitation, by the most recent legally married spouse," everything changed. Because now it wasn't just about saving Bill. It was about who would hold the empire if he didn't wake up. Katie was married to Bill most recently, post-divorce and reconciliation after Will's birth. But was the marriage officially dissolved? There had been paperwork. Mediation. But had the court finalized it? Brooke had documents too. She'd signed a private marital agreement during one of their affairs, never public, but possibly legal. And Lee? She wasn't a spouse, but she knew how to maneuver the law. And more importantly, she had Bill's medical power of attorney from a private exchange months ago. If he didn't regain consciousness in 72 hours, she could argue incapacitated succession. The air in that ICU thickened with more than oxygen. The machines beeped. The silence burned. Katie snapped first. This is my son's legacy. I built that company with him. I won't watch it go to Brooke again. Brooke, Bill didn't love you the way he loved me. He never stopped. You think he'd want you running Spencer? You couldn't even hold the marriage together. Lee, cold as steel. Neither of you has what it takes to run a corporation. I do. I have no emotional baggage. And I hold legal medical proxy. That makes me the gatekeeper if he doesn't recover. And trust me, if I wanted Spencer Publications in someone else's hands, I could make it happen. They stared at each other not as women, not as lovers or doctors or mothers, but as claimants circling a throne. And Bill? Still silent. Still motionless. Still at the mercy of machines and morphine. But outside the ICU, the world was already catching the scent of scandal. Spencer Publications' board demanded clarity. Was Bill alive? Was he leading? Or was control about to transfer? Wyatt and Justin were blocked from entering the ICU. Reporters camped outside the hospital. Paparazzi drones hovered by windows. Inside, PR teams began spinning. Stockholders were demanding answers. And Liam's condition made him unable to step up. The world's eyes turned to the three women circling Bill's bed. The hospital issued a lockdown, and the lawyers were called. Because the clause in the will had no caveats. It didn't say most loyal. It didn't say longest love. It said most recent legal spouse. And it all came down to the fine print. Katie found the original divorce paperwork. Brooke dug out her marital agreement. Lee produced the power of attorney with a notarized addendum referencing succession fallback in case of medical incapacitation. The room became a courtroom, and no one was winning. Because every minute Bill stayed under sedation, the closer they came to a forced transfer of control, and with three women in conflict, the company could fall into chaos. Hope, Ridge, Steffi, even Eric all tried to intervene, to calm, to mediate. But the ICU had become a sealed arena. And inside it, the stakes weren't just love or loyalty. They were billions. Power. Legacy. And then, on day 3, something happened. A twitch. A breath. A flicker of movement. Bill's fingers moved. His eyes opened sluggish, unfocused, but open. The beeping changed. A nurse ran in. The women froze. Then the words. Barely audible. But enough. Where is Liam? He didn't ask about the company. Not Katie. Not Brooke. Not Lee. Just Liam. Because in the end, Bill Spencer never wrote that clause to spark a war. He wrote it to protect his empire while he fought to protect his son. But now that he's awake, just barely, the power shift pauses. Not ends. Pauses. Because even if he survives the next stage, the damage is done. The women know what's in the will. The lawyers are already in motion. The board is already unstable. And Bill? Still too weak to command. The empire stands on matchsticks. And the next move. Who controls it, who speaks for it, who claims the throne, won't be made with love. It'll be made with fire.